What's up, YouTube? Hope you're having a shitty day today. So I kind of want to address whether or not the Lowrider S is a good first bike. I know that it's a pretty hot bike this year, or for the past few years, I should say. Oh, let's get into gear here. All right. But is it good for a new rider? I guess that's the question of the hour. And what the hell? Going the wrong way here. So, is it a good bike for a beginner? That's a good one. It's heavy, but it's manageable, especially once you just start driving, right? Like once you get past 10 miles an hour, weight doesn't really play a factor as much as you would think. If you haven't ridden anything before, not a dirt bike, four-wheeler, anything, I would say no. I would say it's not the bike for a beginner. Why? Because it does have a crazy amount of torque. High torque, but it does lack on the horsepower. Now that's changeable, obviously, with upgrades from exhaust, cam, tune, things like that. But the torque's what I enjoy. So to give you a little bit of background on me, I've ridden sport bikes pretty much my entire time riding. I've owned two ZX6Rs. That's all I've owned. So moving over to a Harley, it was definitely a change, but I wanted a change, right? I just drive around, really. I don't like haul ass everywhere I go. So I wanted something a little bit more comfortable for highway riding, seeing as how I am in SoCal, and anytime you want to go anywhere, you got to hop on the highway. This bike does not lack in power on the highway. I don't have any problems overtaking people, that's for sure. But it is a fun burnout machine too. That's something I want to point out pretty quickly. But as a beginner bike, yes and no. So why might this not be a bad choice for a first bike? Well, you're not going to outgrow it extremely fast, that's for sure. The Iron 883, I would say that's, if you're looking at buying a Harley for a first bike, I would say that's obviously, like, if you've never ridden before, that's the one you want. But the Iron 883 you're gonna grow out of that extremely quick. I've seen people get it and 3 months later at least upgrade to the 1200. Even then, you'll grow out of that too. So starting off on a Lowrider S or the Lowrider ST isn't a bad choice. It's all about your wrist, right? If you have common sense and you don't try to do things that are... What the heck's going on behind me? If you're not trying to do things out of your comfort zone, right? Like flooring it everywhere you go. I mean, heck, if you're on the highway already doing 70, you want to drop a few gears and do a quick pull, you know, that's one thing. But, you know, riding around town, just doing hoonigan stuff, you should definitely, you know, think twice, especially if you're brand new. But at some point you got to learn, right? That's also another thing. This bike, it's extremely expensive for a motorcycle. It cost me $21,500 out the door. It's a 2022, but I got it towards the, like, literally a month ago or 2 months ago. So we're pretty close to the end of 2022, meaning the 2023s are going to come out. So they definitely are lowering the prices some. So expect the 2023s to be even more than that, like they were for the 2022s earlier this year. So it's a little expensive, not something that you want to risk learning on and possibly dropping, even if you're just moving it, like moving it with your feet. You know, it is heavy. So just everything into riding a motorcycle plays a factor in money, experience, right? Let me merge over here real quick. right. Oh, one thing I like about this is that auto turn signal cancel. Like that is great. I love that. I haven't seen that on a Japanese bike yet, at least none that I've owned. But it's great. Like, it does it by itself, and I don't know how it knows that I've already turned and whatnot, because I'll just move over slightly, like barely lean the bike over, and it'll just auto cancel, which kind of freaked me out at first, because I was like, is it broken? Like, what's going on? But anyways, it's a great bike for, you know, for anyone really, you know, experienced riders. I would say that I'm experienced. I've been riding dirt bikes since I got my first dirt bike when I was 3. Rode pretty much my entire childhood, and then when I turned, I think I was 17, I got a ZX6R, had that for a year or so, sold it, went a few years without not having a motorcycle just because I was young and, you know, I wasn't making the most amount of money anybody could make. And then I got another one, and that one got stolen, and then here I am on this. Again, why did I change to a Harley coming from sport bikes? I just wanted something different. I test drove one. I love the torque, I love the acceleration, but again, it lacks in horsepower. One of my main things I'm gonna do to this bike is a cam exhaust. Oh, that's the first thing. Exhaust for sure, hands down. This thing sounds like a sewing machine. It's like hideous. I'm kind of embarrassed to ride it without
exhaust on it. But whatever, we're putting our first 1,000 miles on it. I'm at 781. Once I do that break-in, like these break-in miles, I'm gonna start, you know, doing what I need to do to it to get it to my bike, not just a Lowrider S, but one that I made, right? So, yeah, we're just taking a nice ride down to Fiesta Island in San Diego. I just got this media mod, and I just did a whole bunch of reviews on microphones and stuff. I used a Purple Panda a long time ago. I actually was not impressed. So this is the mic that more and more people are switching to. If it works good, I'll put the link down in the description. I forgot the name of it already, so, or I'll put it up on the screen. But hopefully the audio turns out great, because if you look at my old videos, like my ZX6R, I mean, the audio is just trash. And I just couldn't figure out what was going on, so yeah. But yeah, we're gonna ride down to Fiesta Island and get some photos, you know, a thumbnail or two. This way I don't have to do it every time I go ride, but it's always good to have at least one or two, right? You know, it pulls. It's definitely no R1. I've ridden an R1 now. But the miles per gallon on this are about double. I think I'm getting like, I don't know, 50, and I ride it kind of douchebaggish, if you will. But yeah, I just be going hard, really. Let's go in here. Actually, no, let's not. We'll go down one more light and we'll take a right and see what we want. See if we can't get anything that's good for a photo. So yeah, coming up on my 1,000 miles, I'm gonna do a review of the bike. I think I'm gonna do one video of, you know, the things I love about this bike, and another video of things I don't like about this bike. So when I was talking to the Harley Davidson dealership, I found out a little bit of information about the 2023s, because I was like, what colors are they gonna have? What's gonna be different about them? Do you know anything? He kind of knew some things. Now, mind you, they just wanted to make a sale. Let's be honest, that's how salesmen are. So they were telling me, you know, it's not going to be much different. I think they're going to be doing yellow as a color scheme. I'll pass on that. I'm not a yellow type of person. I don't think yellow looks good on vehicles, in my opinion. Now, for those yellow lovers out there, I don't hate the color yellow. I just prefer my vehicles to be more of a mute tone, like black, gray, or white. Hence why my Camaro's black and my Harley Davidson's gray. Well, this looks, you know, this doesn't look too bad. Maybe we'll do some photos over here, yeah? Got a bridge, got Sea Road in the background. I just want something easy. All right, cool. Got some thumbnails. There's only one location, but it's better than nothing. I've briefly described why I think this is and isn't a beginner's bike. You know, it's all personal, depending on your experience, your mentality, what kind of what kind of rider will you be, you know, things like that. If you guys want my opinion on maybe what a beginner bike should be, I'll give you two. First one is if you haven't ridden anything, nothing at all, first time on two wheels, I would say like a Ninja 300 or an R3. Why? Those bikes are light, they're not an aggressive seating style, they don't have a crazy amount of power, but they have enough to keep you entertained as you're getting better. And they also hold their value good, because we already know that you're gonna sell it eventually, right? The second bike I would say is the Harley Iron 883. If you want to stay away from the sporty style and go more American made, man, I kind of want to go right. I don't know, maybe I'll go down just a minute. But yeah, Harley Davidson Iron 883, or I think it's the Iron 1200, or I could be wrong, or the 48. I'm not too knowledgeable about Harley models yet, but I'm learning, I promise. So now let's say you have ridden something. Let's say, you know, you used to drive your YZ85 or YZ125 down, you know, in your backyard, or even used to race some, you know, because that was me. I wouldn't even put it past, well, let's stop here, make sure no one's gonna rear end me. All right, we're good. I wouldn't even put it past a ZXXR or an R6, if you want to look at sporty. What I would look past are the R1s, or, you know, the Ducatis, stuff like that. But if you do have riding experience, your first street bike, you know, the 600 sport bikes aren't bad, and neither is a Lowrider S. I would honestly say look at the Lowrider S if you have some riding experience, or even a lot, just your first sport bike. The Lowrider S is a great bike all around, because you're not going to be bored with it. I haven't gotten bored with it yet, and again, I've come from sport bikes, but it's not going to be too much for your everyday riding, right? Because the one thing I didn't like about having a sport bike 24/7 was, one, I was uncomfortable every time I got on it. I mean, you get used to it, but it's still not a comfortable seating position. Two, I mean, yeah, you can customize them, but to what extent? Exhaust, tune, maybe some lights, or a wrap, or custom fairings, but at that point you're you know, you're kind of done. You know, levers, that's a big one. But on these Harleys, that's another thing, is you can make them your own 100%. Bar risers, right? Like, which I'm doing all of this stuff, so be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to check it out. But there's just so much to do to make it your own. And if you're looking at content creation, Harleys is a really good one, because it's never just going to be buying the bike, riding it. You know, you can also do build series and stuff like that, which is what I'm trying to do. So again, I really hope this audio sounds good though. God, that's been like my arch nemesis, is audio. But we're gonna get there. I'm gonna figure it out. Hopefully I already did, but we'll wait for post to see. I have no idea where I'm at. I low-key just drove straight. But I know where the 5 is, so we're gonna go there. Alright guys, well, I really appreciate you guys checking out my video. If you like this video, or if I missed anything, one, comment. Let me know what I missed, what I should do better, and what you guys want to see in future videos. Two, give me a like and subscribe, because you know, that's just what you hear on YouTube, right? I'm just following the trends here. And yeah,